Okay, so in this tutorial we're gonna see how you can read a CSV file in Python using Pandas data frames. So Pandas is a library used usually with Python, and it's the most prominent library that you use for data analysis. So the first thing you want to do is to write import pandas as PD. This way you import pandas and you name this library as PD. It's a naming convention that you will usually see. After that, you need to see your working folder. My directory has the sample data folder and I have some CSV files here. As you may know, CSV files are files that are comma delimited, meaning they are separated by comma. And here you can see an example of how it looks like. It's just an Excel file. If you are accustomed to Excel, it's a sheets file. So let's see how you can read it. What you want to do is, after importing pandas, let's run this code cell. What you want to do is use pd, meaning pandas.read read underscore CSV. This is a function that you are gonna use from the pandas library to read files, and they can be either CSV files or they can be anything you could actually want. So the first argument that you need to specify is the location of the file. So in my case it's sample data and then nist test.csv. So boom, so I've specified the name and boom, here you can see that I have read this file. For example, let's check another file. I will try and import the California housing train, and you can see here that the dataset is imported and also the column names are also important. One very important thing that I want you to learn is that you can specify the separator argument. CSV files by default are separated by comma, but you may have a file like a text file that's separated by tabs. What you can do is specify here the character of tab, which is slash and T, so you can read it with tabs. In our case, you can see that it's gonna be written in a wrong form because we want comma here. And there are also a lot of other arguments on read CSV that you can see. So for example, if you go to the documentation of Pandas, you can see that it has so many arguments. But the basic one and the first one is the file path. And then you specify the separator, the default value is the comma. And then you can specify where the header is. For example, if your header file, meaning the column names, are not in the first row, you can specify a different row. And you can also specify the name. So for example, if you want to specify different column names from the ones in the file, you can use the names equals something to do that. If you also have an index in your data, you can specify the column of the index. So let's check it out a little bit. Okay, so let's do that. And let's say that the index will be the longitude. So if I come here and put index call equals true, let's check it out. Okay, so this does not work. So let's check out false. So false probably is the default, but you can also specify it, I think, like longitude. So let's check this out. Boom. And I specified that the column name called longitude is going to be the index. All right. So this is really helpful if you know the index of the files. For example, you may have an ID or something like that. So this is how you can read pretty much any file in Pandas, except for JSON files, of course. You can specify the separator, which separates the data. You can specify an index call, and you can see that you can by default get like your column names, and how you can use, for example, the names or the header to change your names. There are also a lot of other stuff that you can do, but just for now, I think that this is pretty much okay. You don't need all the other stuff here. They're, a bit more customized, but you can go ahead and, read the documentation.